Good morning, Amador County. This is Supervisor John Plasse, Supervisor District 1, here to give the board report for yesterday, June 25th's Board of Supervisors meeting. The first item the board didn't consider but heard was the final report from the grand jury. Grand jury foreman Marianne Bourgeois made the presentation to the Board of Supervisors and offered herself up to field questions shortly thereafter. There were a number of compliments from, I believe, every board member on the supervisors that complimented this year's grand jury specifically for what was obvious in their report, that they were very fair and balanced in their assessment of the citizen complaints that came before them, and that they left all political bias and ideology out of their decision making and their responses. It was very refreshing to see an organization come together in the manner that the grand jury comes together on a very random basis and achieve such a fair representation of the issues that they touched on. They covered items such as the county budget. There was a complaint that came in about the county and having done the layoffs that we had to do last year, and that we had millions in the bank was the accusation, and no reason to lay people off. But as the grand jury immersed themselves in the county budget and came to understand what the Board of Supervisors is required to do, and that is balance a budget annually, they realized that we had been very judicious in our expenditures and kept the county budget healthy and whole, and only do layoffs when we absolutely have to in order to balance our budget, which is balancing our expenditures annually with our projected revenues annually. Yes, we do retain a reserve in the county budget. That reserve, albeit millions, represents about 4 weeks worth of cash flow on the county basis. So it's not a lot of money when you think in terms of the actual burn rate of cash that the county goes through on a weekly and monthly basis. So very complimentary to this year's grand jury. Excellent job. One item of note, I thought, was that they came to the conclusion that all the disputes and charges revolving around the gravity supply line project that the Amador Water Agency is pursuing needed to be judged on their merits and be left free of political bias. And in the end of their analysis of the gravity supply line project, the grand jury for 2012-13 came to the recommendation that the Amador Water Agency should proceed with building the gravity supply line. So that was an interesting revelation on their part. The next item that we discussed was a letter or a resolution in opposition to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's proposed listing of the yellow-legged frog, or the Sierra Nevada yellow-legged frog, on the National Register for Endangered Species. This listing has been brought forth by Fish and Wildlife and has also been utilized by the Forest Service, U.S. Forest Service, to rationalize their closure of all the motorized routes that were had the opportunity to be opened back up while mitigation measures were put in place in the meadow areas. They have chosen on the day of the Forest Supervisor's retirement to not do that, and used this proposed listing as part of their rationale. The board passed the resolution to oppose that listing for a host of reasons, not the least of which that the recreational opportunities both in Amador and Alpine counties are significantly curtailed as a result of this listing and its long-ranging effects. Next item was a Public Works issue on a redesign for the Shenandoah Road, Fiddletown Road intersection. We have chosen a preferred design concept. The estimated cost is about $1.66 million, and we have access through the City of Plymouth to a Highway Safety Improvement Program grant cycle for about $1.5 million. So we look to value engineer that project within the budget range of that HSIP grant and go forward in partnership with the City of Plymouth to acquire that grant and complete that safety project. Also took a position on a letter that was written by our local Amador County Sheriff, Mr. Martin Ryan, in a letter that he sent to Senate Pro Tem Darrell Steinberg regarding some of the state of California's proposed gun legislation, a host of legislation that frankly does nothing to curb the criminal element from their access to ammunition and guns, but virtually takes many families that have heirloom pieces and reclassifies those guns as some sort of assault weapon. So took a position on that, supporting our sheriff, and also against Constitutional Amendment number 8, also being considered to lower the required tax rate or tax passage from 66% to 55%. So thank you for listening. This is Supervisor John Plasse signing off. We'll go to break and be right back. Thank you.
You're watching Amador County's local television network, TSPN.